Hi guys, very warm welcome to you. And so in this video we are going to today talk about the MS Access, how to prepare for the MS Access interview. For those who are watching my channel for the first time, so these are all the playlists where you can actually go ahead and watch the different videos. So I run the channel and I with just one aim in my mind, that I want to help you in the Excel, I want to help you in the Excel VBA, and of course now we have started the MS Access and MS Access VBA. So if you want to have a look on the Excel VBA interview questions, then you can click on this and you would find all the videos here. You can go and watch all these videos, how to prepare for the Excel and the VBA interview. So in this series now I'm going to talk about the Access interview, that what are basically the questions we ask. So I have prepared just two questions for you. They are very common questions. The one is, what is the primary key and its benefit, and the second is, what is the difference between a data type, number and text, right? And after doing this, after letting you know that what exactly how you need to answer it, and we will also do the practical example so that you can understand it. I'm going to take up this question which I have received 2 days back. Hi Ajay, I have a table which has a lot of repetitions and needs to remove the duplicate ones. I can do that easily in Excel, removing duplicates, but not sure how to remove the duplicates in MS Access. Can you help? Can you share with us if it needs Access VBA or just front end would be enough? Regards, Shiv. So thank you so much, Mr. Shiv, for your question. So Shiv actually wants to remove the duplicates in the Access table, and in the Excel it is very easy, and he also knows it. You just need to go to this data and you can use the option remove duplicates. You can also go ahead and watch the the video on my the playlist. You can just search there remove duplicates and you will get to know what is the video on the Excel. But in this case we are going to see that how in Access you can remove the duplicates, right? So we are not going to actually touch the Access VBA. This is going to be a simple front end Access. Now first of all, let me tell you guys the very common question which anyone can ask you, which definitely it is going to be asked, is what is the primary key and what are the benefits. Now primary key means that we create the primary key to avoid the duplicate when you don't want the duplicate entries. Now for example, let us just go ahead and let's create the table. Let me create here, this is Access 2010 I'm using. So go in the table design. Let's say you want to create a table where you have the employee IDs and name. So I'm going to create here employee ID and I keep it text, and then I'm going to create let's say first name, and again going to keep it as text. Now when you're going to save this table, you see that, do you want to save the changes? Yes. Now table, you can give it a name. For example, I'm going to give the name called employee list. That's it. Press OK. The moment you click, you would see that there is no primary key defined. Although a primary key isn't required, but it is highly recommended. Do you want to create a primary key now or not? So if you're going to create the primary key, because Access also tells you that every database, basically every table should have a primary key, but it is not necessary. Sometimes you really want to keep the duplicate entries as well, right? But Access always offers you this kind of a prompt, right? So if you say yes, I want to create, then what will happen? Access will create its own duplicate ID. If you want to have a look, just click yes and look at the table. Now let me click back on the table. Now we never created this ID. We only created two headers. One is the employee ID in the first name. So this comes automatically, auto mode. If you look at the design mode of this, you can see here that it's auto number. Auto number means a number which is automatically going to be generated. Now if you look at if you click on the data sheet view, and if you write here employee ID, let's say 400, and if you write here any name, you see that this ID is automatically created. And if I write some more employee ID, this ID is automatically going to be created as 2. I'm not writing here anything. And if I go on the next and I write one more employee ID, you see that this 1, 2, 3 is automatically going to be created for us. So definitely we want to create the IDs. One thing is sure, that I don't want to create this on the ID part. I would like to create it on the employee ID, because employee ID is something which is very unique, right? So what we can do is we can simply delete this table. Let's just select and delete it and close this, and go to right click and go to the design view, and first of all let us just get rid of this. Just remove this. Deleting ID field require Microsoft Access to delete the primary key. Yes, we want to delete it, we don't want to keep it, right? Let me just close this. Okay, now the next thing which you need to decide is that which field do you want to keep as a primary key. Now employee ID is definitely something which is always going to be unique. If you have a lot of people in your organization, you want to keep a track, definitely every employee has its own employee ID which is going to be unique, but they can have a similar name. So definitely we are not going to create the primary key on the first name, right? So you select this, click here, or you click here. So whatever row you want to actually, whatever the field name you want to create a unique, you want to create a primary key, you just select on that. So I'm going to select on this and I'm going to click on the primary key, and you see now this primary key is inserted. So that means now this is going to be considered as a primary key. Just save the table And once you save the table, just double click on it, and now let's go ahead and let's enter 100. Let's say this is the employee ID and this is the name. Now when you go to the next time and you enter here 200, and then you, let's say, enter one more name, this is the Jarvis, and now you again go ahead and you enter again one more name. Let's say I'm going to enter the same name again, the same employee ID, which is 100, which is already entered in the first record. And the moment I click here, the moment I come here and I say that let's say I'm going to write here some name, and I just click on the next record with the fourth record, it would say that changes he requested to the table were not successful because they would create the duplicate values. So this is to prevent the duplicate values, right? So you can tell your interviewer that primary keys we insert in order to ensure that there has to be no duplication. Now which particular field you have to make the primary key, that entirely depends upon the situation, that depends upon the database. For example, if you have this database, let me delete this again. Now in this database, obviously you cannot think of creating any primary key other than the employee ID, right? But that does not mean, you cannot create. If you want, then you can also create a primary key on the first name. For example, let me just off this and let me click here and let me press this primary key and let's just enter, close it. There we go. Now my primary key is first name, which is absolutely absurd, let me tell you, because name can, anyone can have a same name. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, they can have a same name. But just to understand that it's not always the employee IDs or roll numbers or any sort of that, you can create the the primary key, whatever you think that is going to be that is actually should be the primary key. So this time I'm going to enter 100, and let's say I'm going to enter here name again. Now this time again I enter 100 and I enter, let's say, a name called Alan. Now the moment I click outside, you see that it has accepted. Now there's no problem in accepting the employee ID because you generated the the primary key as a first name. You did not actually work on the employee ID, right? That is the main part. Now if you just change this to Ajay, and now if you click back, look at this, it will give you the prompt. So this is so powerful. It is going to keep a check, right? So you will have to edit this. Now while writing this, I know some of you may would like to ask, and if the question is not in your mind, then let me just throw this question. So can you create the primary key with the combination of 2 fields? For example, what if I want that the employee ID and the name, it should not be allowed. Individually, if somebody is writing employee ID again and again, that should be allowed, but a combination of a name and employee ID should not be allowed. Now this is very interesting, right? This is very useful also. Then what you can do is you can create the 2 primary keys as well. For example, let's just go back to, let me just save this table. Now let's go to the design view, right click and click on this. Now let's do one thing. Let's create the primary key here as well. Okay, so the moment you click on this, this will shuffle to the, this moves to the employee ID and it removes from the first name. So if you select the first name and then click on the primary key, it removes from the employee ID, right? So that is something which you don't want to do with that. So what is the way? So you actually have to select both the things. Press the shift key and just select that. Let me repeat that. If you select this row first, let's say click here and then press your shift key, just keep a hold on your shift key, don't release the shift key, and just click on that, and there we go. Now both the things are selected, and click on the primary key and you see that the primary key is inserted. There we go. So just now close this and now look at this. This is going to be the third kind of a primary key, the third type of a primary key. So I'm going to enter 100, I'm going to enter here Ajay. Perfect. Now I'm going to enter 100 and I'm going to enter here, let's say, another name Alan. There's no repetition, right? 100 is repeating, but the combination is not repeating. So now I'm going to enter here, let's say 200, and I'm going to enter here Ajay. Again, there's no combination which is getting repeated, though Ajay is coming twice, but that's fine, because we have created 2 primary keys, the combination of that. So the moment I'm going to enter here 100 and Ajay, now we should have a problem. Let's see, let me click here. There we go. So this is what actually I was talking about, right? So you can also create the combination of the primary keys. This is very important, right? So in this way you can tell your in your interview that primary keys can be defined on any particular field, but it is always a situational thing. We see the data and on the basis of data we decide which primary key we have to give, right? For example, roll number or employee IDs or anything, any unique number, right? But yes, we can also create the we can join the headers and we can create the combination as well on the primary keys, right? So the benefit is obviously that it is going to keep a check. It is never going to allow any duplicate entry, and in that way you can always save your data. Now what is the next thing I wanted to tell you, which is very interesting actually, and this tells you that what exactly, I mean, if you're able to answer this question, then let me tell you, I don't think so interviewer even going to ask you the second thing, because then he would understand that, all right, so this person actually knows really good programming. Now what is the difference between the data type, number, and text? Now I'm talking about particularly about the MS Access, right? Now in the Access, you see that when I created this, look at this, we have given this data type as text. We could have given it a number also, right? So is it actually really going to make any difference? Well, let's just try to find it out the answer, right? So it's right now the text. Let me go ahead and create the query for this, and we are going to create a query, very simple query, to give you the understanding on this wonderful question. So I'm going to add this query. So if you don't know the Access, then I'm so sorry guys. I mean, this is not a basically on the Access, the basic Access. We are not going to talk about this. I assume that you guys know the little bit about the Access, at least the Access tables, and so this video is actually for you in case if you know the basics of the Access table, and then you can crack the interview. I'm not here to talk about the that how to create the tables, how to make the queries, right? So in the future, of course, I will upload some very basic videos as well, but these days we are focusing on the the front part. We are focusing on the Access VBA part. I have uploaded a lot of good videos, how to create the form, how to create the dashboards. I'll just walk you through in the end of the video. Right now what I'm going to do, look at this. I'm simply going to write here employee ID and first name, let's say. Right now if you run this, if you run this, you would have your employee IDs like this, which is correct, 100 and then 200 and everything, right? So let's just save this. Let me save this query, and let's say query 1. We are fine with that. Now let's go ahead in the employee database, and now let me do one thing. Let me enter here 111, and let's enter some name here, John, and then 1111, and let me add here, let's say any other name. Okay, so let's just write Rakesh, and let's just write one more employee ID, which is 222, and we can write here Malik, and let's just add this as well. Okay, and let's give it a name, Bhaskar. Okay, now this is your table. Now what you want to do is, let me save this table. Now in the query, you come to the design view, and what you need to do is let's actually sort them. Okay, employee IDs, I want to sort them in the ascending order, right? So when you're going to sort them in the ascending order, what you're going to expect out of it? Obviously you would see that 100 has to come first, and then 111, and then 200, and then 222, and then 1111, all that stuff, the basic sorting which we do. So have a look on this. Now let me click on this run. So I'm going to run this query. The moment you run this query, look at this, what it has done. Has it sorted out? It hasn't sorted out, right? It's a very, I mean, I'm not sure whether you know this or not, but I think that I wanted to tell you, because after all, you're going to appear for the interview. It sorted out, but it sorted out in this way. It sorted out because in this way, because you have stored it, the data type you have given it as a text. So what it did actually is, it actually considered these 111 as text. So it is actually going here 111, and then it is going to consider here as 4 times 1 before the 200, because this is now more of a like ABC alphabets, right? Because we have kept them as a text. So you have to while doing all these things, while designing the table, please ensure that which data type you would like to give. Now text always remains text. You really don't have any control on that. They always remain text. But when it comes to storing the numbers, you have to really think on that, whether to give it a number or this text. Now if somewhere you need to really sort them out, and you have to work on that, then that would create a big time problem. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's quickly, let me do you want to save the changes? Yeah, I'm going to save it. Now let's do one thing. I'm going to simply delete this table again. Let's just delete the table and close the table, and let's go back and design view. So this time I'm going to make it number. Let's see now what will happen. Okay, so let's just click on the view. You must save the table. So I have saved the table. Now what you want to do is I'm going to create here some employee IDs again. So let's say ABC, whatever. I mean, we are going to be very quick on this. So I'm going to just enter this, and then I'm going to enter 111, and I'm going to enter here any name, and then we can further go ahead and I can write 222. I can write here some name, and then I can write here 1111 as well, and I can write here John. Okay, let me just close this table. Now let us see if you're going to sort this. The query is already sorted. You know that in the design view I have already created that ascending order. So just run this and look at this. Look at this now query. It is actually now has sorted the numbers 100, 111, 200, 1111 and 2222. So this is exactly I'm talking about. What design, in the design what you actually going to give, don't just choose the random number. Don't just leave everything on the axis that axis is going to take care of it. No, it doesn't work like that, right? You have to really be very serious in this business, right? You have to really decide it, because you see now you can create number or text, but in the future when you're gonna run in the real environment 20-30 queries, who knows what you have created, somebody is going to take your place in your absence, or maybe as a backup, then and they're going to run some queries and they are not going to get this kind of output. Then really it's very difficult to trace these things. So it's better you design the table and you design according to the future of your basically what kind of a queries you would have, right? So that's it from the interview perspective. Now let's quickly go ahead and let's try to answer this question which Shiv has asked me, that how to remove the duplicates in the axis. So in the axis, if you have a duplicate entries, then possibly you will not have any primary key, right? So obviously let me remove the primary keys from here. There we go. Save the table. So first of all, let me just quickly enter here some entries here. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to paste it here again. And similarly, let me just paste one more ID, this one, and paste it here. And let's say you have this kind of a data. It's a very small data, but the concept remains same. Now you have your this table, and Shiv actually is saying that how to remove the duplicates from here, because in the axis you don't have any remove duplicate option, and neither you can work on the counting function, which in Excel generally you work. So there is a good way of doing it. Maybe in the next video I will talk about the how you can actually create a button in the form which can remove the duplicates and keep your this unique values there. We can make a program, we can run a loop, and we can see that if anything comes duplicate, then just delete it. But that is the access code. But this is a very simple task actually, I tell you, so you don't have to prepare the VBA code for that, right? So but we have both ways. So now what you need to do, this table, copy it, just simply Control C and Control V. The moment you press Control V, you would have your the copy of employee list, right? So what do you want to do? Structure only and structure and data. If you keep the structure only, then what will happen, your headers will be copied but the data will be empty. So that is what you want to do, structure only, and click OK. Now once you do that, you have your same table created. Have a look on this. It is totally empty, but all the headers are pasted. So if you would have 20 headers in your this employee list, that means that 20 headers with the same database design, with the same data type which you have created here, they would have actually created in this table as well. Now once you created this using the structure only, what is the next thing which you need to do? Now this is a very important thing. Now in this copy which you have created, go to the design view and just click here and make it the primary key. The moment you're going to make it primary key, it will never accept any duplicate entry whenever you are going to import something in this table. Whenever you're going to import something in this table, it is never going to accept that any duplicate value, and that is the key, right? So that is the key in using the primary key. What a rhyme I have made. Well, that's fine. We're just joking actually. So now what is the next thing you want to do, guys? Just select this table, okay, and now copy this and again paste it, Control V. The moment you do that, you have to use this option, append data to the existing table, which is this table which you have already created. The moment you do that, in the copy of employee list, you have the primary key already created. So when you press OK, it says the content of the field in the 0 record were deleted and 4 records were lost due to key violation. What do you mean by that? Now I always say that when you have the errors, when you have the prompt, be it Excel VBA or MS Access, just fall in love with them. Trust me, because people generally have this tendency, all right, there is some error and they click yes, no, cancel, whatever, they close the button and they try to form the things again without reading the things. So if you read this, it is so clear. this is a long, I mean, kind of a prompt, you know, and I really, I don't know why Microsoft, you know, they are not working on this. I mean, this is really very long to read. We really don't have that much of time to read everything. But anyways, that's the way it is, and I'm not sure till what time they're gonna keep all these big errors, especially in the MS Access. But again, it's very clear if you read it. It says that 4 records were lost due to key violation. Now, key violation is what? Key violation, because in the copy of employee list, you created a primary key. Primary key means that that key is going to prevent any duplicate entry. You know, if you're going to insert any duplicate entry into this table, it is going to restrict, it is not going to allow you that. So that is why what it did, all the employee IDs which here were, you know, getting repeated, they are lost. It deleted them, it removed them. Now, do you want to proceed anyway? Now, if you click on the no, then obviously, you know, query will not work. But if you click on the yes, because you know that, you know, this is your task, you have to do it, you know, you need to only have the unique value. So definitely you click on the yes. The moment you click on the yes, now look at, let's just click on this copy of employee list. Have a look on this and have a look on this table as well. So 100 and AVP, you can see here 100 and AVP is coming just one. What about the rest? So all these values are deleted automatically, right? So 111 is also coming once. So you can see here 111 is also coming back, right? So this way you can actually remove the duplicate ones, right? So that's it, that's the end of the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and click on the, you know, the bottom, the right corner, you see there the button, just click on that and you can subscribe to this. And yes, I just take 10 seconds. You can go to the playlist and you would find all the videos here based on these categories if you are new to my channel. And here we have launched some of the Access series. I'm working a lot on the MS Access, and you know, day by day I'm uploading the videos on MS Access because I have received a lot of requests from you guys. So this is the Microsoft Access collection video. This is all about the VBA, how you can run the collection loops. Then you have you know, some more videos on the MS Access table. The video which you have just seen, you know, that is I'm going to create on the interview Excel VB and MS Access interviews. So that will be uploaded there. You can go ahead and click on this MS Access tables if you want to see, if you want to understand, you know, how the tables are set up, how to import and, you know, do export, all that stuff. And one thing, the last request, don't forget to watch a video on this, connect MS Access with the Excel. These are all the, you know, the videos which we have created using the Access VBA. Export Access table to Excel, export Access data in Excel, then export table of your choice from the list box, file dialog. So they are all the, you know, actually the wonderful videos, right? So that's it, guys. I'll come up with some more exciting stuff very soon. Until then, you take care of yourself and have a great learning. Thank you so much. Bye bye.